And we're back. Some underground world news live. Let me get the mic check real quick. And a much love. Good evening to everybody out there. Much love, Tom, Sharon, Karen, Crown Jewels. Happy Friday to you, Sherry. Oh, Frog. Thank you, Steve, for the feedback. John Boy. And this is John Connor, or Dabu7. I had to say that because of what you said, but thank you for the feedback. E-Fitz, E-Face, Bones, Deanne, Art, Ava, Daily. I want to thank everyone that shares the stream. Sean, D. White, Hoodie, Tacos, Tooge, all the crew. Much love, Kev Bar Company. I see Eon, Bulletproof, Victor, G in the house. It's good to see everybody, man. Hope everyone's doing good. Got plenty to talk about here. Thank you, Detroit. I see you guys checking in from all over the place. Literally. I've seen Hawaii out there. I've seen Ireland out there. UK. Malaysia. I mean, it's good to know that we can reach into some of those places. Jim. Much love to everybody out there. Mike. Hope all is well. You can see a few of the things there in the title that we're going to touch on here tonight. If you need to get anything to me, it's dabu7@yahoo.com. You can also at me in the chat at dabu77. Try my best to keep an eye open to see it and to respond. And yeah, check just a couple things there. You guys said everything's good. All right. Start off here with a quick look at gas prices. They haven't been hurting us, so to speak, but I wanted to bring it up because we all know California always seems to have the highest. That's what I hear. You guys can chime in. Let me know what it's like in your neck of the woods, the price, so to speak. If you're going to say the price, please put the area as well so we know. But California, the average price is $4.85 a gallon. I mean, you can see on the sign here, it gets up to 7 something in some areas, certain times. So their average is probably what we would consider to be a high or a high point in my neck of the woods. But yeah, this is mainly because we come to find out here that it's because of taxes and like the local surcharge. A majority of $1.30 per gallon goes for regulations and taxes, and that's double the national average. So that alone right there on top of everything, all the politics in California, that's what makes it so bad there. But look no further than Texas if you're trying to get a fix here, because Texas drivers pay about $3 per gallon. That's $2 less than those in California. But Texas has the whole oil thing going for them and all that, so they do have cheaper gas down there. Anyhow, they're always coming with the high prices out there, but nothing gets higher than Hawaii. Hawaii, like, super expensive in all categories because it's way out there in the middle of the ocean. And Hawaii, so that you know, if you want to go there and visit, you're going to start getting charged a carbon tax for your carbon footprint. It's part of this inaugural Green Fee Act 96 that they've rolled out. It's going to raise the state's current accommodation tax, or TAT, by 0.75% for a total of 11% placed upon the nightly lodging rate, effective January 1st, 2026. So, beginning of 2026, it's going to get even more expensive in Hawaii, and it's because they're tacking on a carbon tax. That's pretty crazy. Man, that's pretty totalitarian. You ever look at the taxes and what they really are in some areas? You'll see like local school tax and like janitor tax and like the stupidest taxes in the world you could even think of are on there. But because people don't say nothing, don't do anything, and continue to pay it, it stays on there. And since they get away with it, they get away with a stupid tax on you. This is the penalty for sitting there with your mouth shut. They'll do another one. They'll throw another one. Maintaining the roads tax or something stupid. And since nobody says anything, most people say, "Oh well, they got to maintain the road." Yeah, it's crazy. That's how they get away with a lot of this stuff. But I'm hoping people are starting to wake up to all this in terms of the bills, hiding stuff in the big bills, slipping extra taxes in there like this, and people are hurting. So it's usually when people start, feeling it, they start looking around, seeing what's going on. But again, if you want to go to Hawaii, you want to stay in a hotel or anywhere, there's going to be an additional carbon tax now. Never been. I don't know if I'll ever see Hawaii, but yeah, that's that. Now, I want to bring up this talk of mystery meat. That's right, mystery meat. Because you just don't know what they're serving out there at all these places. And you don't. And there should be like some kind of proof or evidence if people were smart, showing where the meat's coming from, showing that it's been tested, it comes from a certain area, that it goes through a process that you can trust. Well, they brought this up. Senate AG chair shoots it down because they were wanting to put a label on the meat showing the country of origin. Which I'm fine with that. Put a label on it. Let us know if it's not GMO, if it's GMO stuff. Let us know if it's this or that. Not hide it. Mystery meat. Just the name alone. A lot of places are serving this because I think people would be shocked if there was a real investigation into where the food was coming from, the meat and all this other stuff. We just don't know. It's a guessing game right now. It could be coming from China. This could be coming from anywhere. If you can, again, I say this to try to get people to move in this direction. But if you can split a cow with friends or family, it's probably going to save you in the long run for sure. If you can't afford a whole cow, split it with friends and family. You're going to get briskets and filet mignons and everything else out of this. I would do that. And, find someone that you can trust that's raising the cattle. That's the route to go if you ask me. It's what we do at this point. Stock a freezer up with it. And it's something you can trust, you can't go wrong with. You ain't got to worry about it. And if some contamination gets out there, you ain't got to worry about it as well. But the mystery meat is just nuts. Like, all you can do is hope, right? Because people really don't know. But they were going to throw this label on stuff, but they shot it down. And it kind of pisses me off because we should know. And thank you, G, for the coffee. I appreciate that. God bless. Appreciate it to the fullest. And John Deere is going to invest $20 billion into America. So this is a plus in terms of jobs, in terms of things like that. You would think on the surface, right? But I must say this. If these new assembly lines and factories are full of robots and AI, it's going to signal the beginning of the end for people. When you see new factories going up, everyone always thinks that's job opportunity, obviously. But when these factories go up, no job openings are posted. People are like, what? And they're like, yeah, it's all automated, overseen by AI. Needs only like one or two humans in the whole plant. Oversee a few things, flip a few switches, and it all runs itself. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're building everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Now, I spent a lot of time coming up in the printing press industry. In every industry has, technologies that come along and they have advancements. And I've noticed that even in that sector here throughout the years that a lot of automation has been put in there, because you used to have to like get in there, you have to change plates and belts. Every job was different. You'd have to put new plates for every job on. There was a guy that had to make the plates, and then you had operators and ink pen, and you had all these different components, guys that made it happen. You had the guy that ran the roll truck, or the truck, the clamp truck, and go pick up paper rolls, set it down, stock it at the end, and unload trucks and do all this stuff. But now they got robots doing every bit of that. They literally got robots doing almost every single bit of it. And I'm telling you, man, it gets scary. Some of these industries are already getting hit. The jobs in them going down. Now, if there's an old factory still open doing old school stuff, they'll still be hiring for humans because they need humans to operate. But once these new factories are built, you have to pay attention, because if they're built, toward this AI, it's done. I'm going to touch on AI big time here tonight as well. It's a theme that's not going to go away. It's going to be around for the rest of our days to come. And we've got to take this thing head on. We can't turn a cheek to it. I'm going to try to put as much attention on it as possible because it deserves it. We got to wake all these zombies up around us that are just ignoring stuff. Because if the big, beautiful bill gets passed, we're done for. I mean, we're done. It's absolutely done. It's the most totalitarian thing ever, and we're going to touch on that. But when I see these stories, all I can think of at this point is the implications of AI and robots for all these places, especially if they're new builds, which a lot of these places are going to be new assembly lines. You just won't even need a human at all again. So Trump comes out and says he's going to double the steel tariffs. And he starts firing off this tariff stuff again, trying to strengthen U.S. steel. Well, then he goes off on China, and he says, no more Mr. Nice Guy. They violated the trade agreement. So he says they have totally violated their agreement. So much for being Mr. Nice Guy. So what he says, well, yeah, the market moves on all this stuff. So everyone thought that it was in the bag. We had something going here. Well, no, just this quick. One day, one headline, everything's changed. I don't know where this is going to go from here, but all the other stories connecting to it just go back the other way, where things are going to stop moving because of this. Futures drop here as trade pessimism returns. So the market starts to dump out in all types of different aspects, different stocks across the board. I mean, you name it. They were seeing in the negative there. Nvidia, Tesla. Gap sunk 15%. Wow. Futures down. So that's what happens when all this doom and gloom returns to the market in terms of the market talk, in trade talk with China. So what do we do in turn? We tighten the screws, so to speak. jet engine parts, semiconductors, all that stuff. All the exports that go to China have been halted. They are calling this a supply chain war out of nowhere. And again, I don't think the people are paying attention because all this stuff is happening so fast and every day it's switching up. Most people that, might have missed the news for a day, they're like, yeah, well, I heard just the other day that they worked out a deal with China. Well, they did. As of today now, which is almost already over, that's done. They're back into a war, trade war, and they're calling it a hot supply chain war. And they're stopping jet engines and semiconductors from going out. So if we're stopping this from going out, China's going to do the same thing in return. I mean, last time they were calling boats up halfway out in the ocean and being like, look, you're not going to China. You got to go to Japan and drop this load off. Things like that. Thought we dodged the bullet, kind of hammered it out, but this whole thing's staged. I'm telling you. It seems engineered to bring down both economies and to reset everything. They need a catalyst to do this. And this is the perfect one. This is perfect. No one's going to say a thing either side at the top, the U.S. or China, in this. Trump's calling his shots. She's calling his shots. And it's the people that suffer. It's always us that suffer. In the end, it's what this whole thing's about. And we know they want to reset this whole thing. So I just want you to know that they've stopped shipping parts out. And that's a big thing. Because they're going to do it in return. You're not going to be able to get certain stuff. So any of the headlines we were talking about just last week, all things could change. Well, they changed all right.
And what about China, specifically China, and that obviously started in a different place. How can you characterize those talks now?
I would say that they are a bit stalled. I believe that we will be having more talks with them in the next few weeks, and I believe we may at some point have a call between the president and party chair Xi.
So stalled. There was a time when the president thought that it was moving forward pretty significantly.
Again, I think that given the magnitude of the talks, given the complexity, that this is going to require both leaders to weigh in with each other. They have a very good relationship, and I am confident that the Chinese will come to the table when President Trump makes his preferences known.
All right, so let me go.
So yeah, they'll come to the table. But they did this last time. They showed up. They had a meeting. They agreed. And what they're trying to do, they broke the agreement per what the President of the United States just said. So, they're stalled. I think they're going to drag this out. It's inevitable where they're taking this. Sharon, much love. Much love. Hope everything's good. The retaliation on all this stuff is the biggest thing because it affects us big time, people that need certain parts. And, if the grid goes down, you better be ready. But how are you going to fix it? Anything like that. You'll need parts from China. It's a setup. Like, first and foremost, you should probably work on securing all of those components, but they could never. We're already set up. Mind you, China's inside of our telecoms, water, all this. The former FBI head said on his way out, it's on record. Nobody seems to care. The new FBI heads and all of them, Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, they're a joke. This whole thing's a puppet show. We're in bad shape right here. I feel like a huge event's about to happen, like 9/11. Call it the economic 9/11. That's what it really feels like. It's going to have everything to do with the currency, the flow of everything, and resetting. Just that simple. Sooner than later at this point. All signs point to like a good window for it is like from here through the summer. So some of these things we don't want to see, but some of it's just going to happen. What I want to see happen, and it's not going to happen with Trump and Elon because Elon's now gone. Talk about that more here in a bit. But what about the gold? I say it every show. What about the gold in Fort Knox? The week that it was mentioned, they didn't get there in a couple of days. People were geeking out, like, "Oh, they can't get there; it's flooded." They flooded it out so no one could get there, and these stupid ass stories. And nothing to do with that. What they've been doing is stalling it out, not saying anything, and like record amounts of gold are being brought in to the United States. Many are saying and speculating that they're stocking and auditing and setting the stage here to show something. Because I don't, it just won't go down good if they open this thing up and it's completely empty. Like how, what, like it can happen. It could happen. I'm putting nothing past them. That right there would be like the financial 9/11. Just open the doors and it's empty. They'll blame it on guys decades ago that did it. But that's not going to fly. Like this thing should get audited all the time. The gold it is. Again, this is all a puppet show. We're talking about these things, shoulda, woulda, couldas, but evil people run the show, and it's just a big puppet show, man. So yeah, they could be stocking the vault right now for the cameras, if that's the case. But I feel like a move's going to be made with the gold. I feel like Trump's probably going to make a move to back the currency with it in some form. Maybe even a basket of things. Some would argue that's the wiser thing to do. Or you could just independently invest in a couple different things. They ain't got to be in a basket, but like invest in land, invest in gold. They've already talked about Bitcoin and all this other stuff. But not just gold, but like silver. Silver is going to explode at some point. I think that silver is probably the better bet for the average person out there to get ahead at this point. It's more accessible. Outside of someone's like wedding rings and immediate jewelry on their hands and things like that, the silver is more in circulation. It's in the coinage, older coinage, and it's in silverware and stuff like that. It's more accessible. People can get their hands on it just for the simple fact that there's a ton of silverware out there all across the country, in the world for that matter. And by name, it's not called goldware. It's called silverware because a ton of it is pure silver. I'm telling you, there's a lot of caches of old silverware that's going to be worth a lot of money in the coming years. You mark my words, man. Just telling you, little things. You see a bag of some old silverware at a yard sale, like with dust on it or something, looks all corroded. Who cares, man? Offer them $10, grab it. Flip it up into quite a few hundred, because that's what it's going to be. Again, they've done away with the pennies. Next is the nickels, and this has huge implications that people I'm not sure are ready for, because what this means at the store for places that already want to play the card, they can already play this card. They could already say, "We don't have pennies," and stop stocking them. They could just make the move and do it. And what this will force is a roundup, and it will be in their favor, meaning every single thing in the store, it'll be a little itty bit of percentage of a boost for the store, because every purchase will be rounded up. If it's like $10.11, well, now it's $10.15. You see, it may not seem like much, but buy after buy after buy after buy, it's going to add up. Now they're already talking about the nickels. The nickels are going to mean that $10.11 then is going to have to get rounded up to $10.20. Another huge boost for the company right there when that gets implemented. And just wait till the dime gets knocked down, and then the quarter. When you're on the doorstep of those two, they're really, it's already happening. We've warned about all these things for years, and like, it's all happening. It's like all going into motion. Again though, the gold in Fort Knox, man. What's it gonna take, man? What's it gonna take? Get a petition going or something, but maybe we should get some bets going on it. Like, is it even going to be this year? Like, somebody name a month. You know? When do you really think this is going to happen? This is my guess. I'll just take a stab at it. My guess is it will be sometime here in the coming months, over the summer. Something will be said about it. And I don't know. That's all I know. And it could very well be connected to this whole event. But Rickards was saying the same thing. How can you talk about doing any of these things with the gold if you don't even know it's there? Yeah. Very valid question. Yeah. Had to pop me up on the screen. Forgot to do that. All right, there we go. So Vance, the guy that looks to be, the Trump protege at this point, they keep trying to paint him in a great light everywhere he goes, everything he does. He'll never be able to fill the shoes of Trump, although I think this is the closest they're going to come to it, trying to find someone to attach to the whole thing, to pass the torch to at least. But Vance says that a Bitcoin reserve is strategic, and it's strategic to gain an advantage over China. So all this just makes me feel like it's all super bullish. Now I know Bitcoin right now, if you look at the charts, is pulling back, but that's because everything is. Because of the tariff war, the whole thing with China and all that, it affects the whole stock market. It affects all these things. So, with this whole reserve thing, states are making moves right now, and I just see more and more doing it. I see this becoming a bigger and bigger thing, and growing. And in terms of the stocks and everything, it's kind of an ominous warning that I feel in terms of the stocks, because Trump's telling everyone go out and buy. Buy. And it just makes me think that that's what you're going to do right before you dump on everybody. As I call it, fattening the hog. It just seems like that's the move that they're making with the whole thing. But if you're going to make this part of your reserve, then how is it not going to explode? How is it not? If you can control it, if you made it, we know the NSA is the root platform, basically, that it was all built on. That's Satoshi. We know this. The hash that it was built on was made by the NSA. That is a fact, Jack. Okay, so they could explode the price at any time. And this would be to their advantage. Massively to their advantage. Same thing if they revalued gold. Remember in the last stream what I told you? Trump wants a weak dollar. What's the quickest and easiest way to get a weaker dollar? Revalue gold and put a huge price on it. That's what. And we could be seeing some huge moves in both. I almost bet you that if they made that announcement on gold, that Bitcoin would explode behind it. They control both. I mean, at this point, what are all these people securing? They're securing gold and Bitcoin. It's the two big things. So again, when you can turn around and you can reevaluate gold, which is coming, in my opinion, Trump wants it, and it will be a three birds with one stone type deal for them. It'd be huge. So you hear states doing all this, making these moves. I think Arizona just did it most recent. I see more doing it. And it's not going away. Ignoring it would be kind of ignorant. You should at least educate yourself on where the whole thing is going and what it is, what it's all about, instead of just sitting there ignorant to it. Knowledge is power, as I could say. And I've said it before. This is about good and evil. If you've got good people wielding technologies and doing that, you really don't have to worry about nothing. You can do great things with technology, like with blockchain. Like I said before, companies all day long can apply this. Every single company can apply this in some way to just store their information, whether it's cells and all this other stuff, and to do it in a good way. And you can control it, and it would all be done good, and everything's great. The technology's used in a good manner when good people use it. But if you're bad people, you can use this system, unfortunately, to track, trace, and freeze the funds. If you're a government like this, they can end up, if this is all you got, if you don't have dollars, you don't have change, you don't have any fiat, and they've got you in an all digital system, just like in China, they could pull the plug. They could be like, oh, you got out of line. You didn't pay your carbon tax. So guess what? Ding, ding. They hit your account. It's deducted. Now you ain't even got enough gas money to get to the store. You're walking. Stuff like that. That's what totalitarian people do. That's been the fear that we've told you the whole time. The beast blockchain. But it's not that the blockchain itself is bad. It's just the technology being used for bad things, just like a gun is. Gun's not bad, but these dudes use it for bad things all day long. So you need to have the clarity on that. You need to see that. Like some big bad boogeyman. You need to understand what these things are. Okay? And how they work instead of just ignoring it. So I told you they just signed a genius bill. Why'd they call it genius? Because they think they're going to buffalo the people and it's going to save the day for the dollar here. How? Because it pegs all stable coins to the US dollar, meaning that all stable coins are backed by the US dollar. What's a stable coin? A stable coin is a crypto or a coin out there that is pegged to a dollar. It never moves. It always stays there. So that, like, when you're trading, you got something to jump into. Like if the whole market's coming down, you can jump into USDT or a stable coin and you retain the value of your money instead of it just falling. Years ago, we didn't have this in the game. Like the whole market ran up in 2016, 2017, or the cycle before that, and there was no stable coins, nothing to jump into. You just had to pick something and jump into it when the whole market came down, because these don't go on forever. If someone's never told you that, like, these things don't go on forever. We have been in an extended super bull market with Bitcoin right now. Normally, you'd be in a bear market by now. But this is telling me that this thing's about to do something different. What you would call a super bull that we haven't really seen yet like this at the top. It's been going on, and it looks like it could rear on all the way in through summer. And like I said before, 120, 130 beyond to reach up and hit for this is nothing. When these things get going and they FOMO, they go parabolic. They could run this thing to stupid places. And once this thing clips $250,000, it's a given. They're going to take it to $1 million. Like, come on. I mean, it's like obvious where they're taking this. And why would they not? They would benefit all day long from it. People just sitting there like, I don't know. It's the same thing with gold. Like I've said this whole time. I've said it for years, but I mean, you either get it or you don't. And a salute to everybody that's made moves. Look what gold's done just since 2016, 2017. And I'm telling you, silver, as I said earlier, is going to have its day. And I really think silver is where a lot of people are going to get the best bang for the buck. from here on out. But go into the digital world. What they're signaling right here, what I see is there's about to be some kind of crash. And this guy says it. This guy might have let the cat out of the bag at the Bitcoin 2025 conference. He says when this whole thing comes down, it's Bitcoin and Tether and all that is going to be the end game for the dollar. He says it clearly, and he goes, why? Because when they come down, everyone's going to jump on it as the hedge. And when it saves the day, everyone's going to see it as superior. And the only thing that's going to keep the dollar alive throughout this whole process is going to be the fact that it's backing Tether. So, but what keeps the dollar alive? Then I'm telling you, it has to be gold. It has to be pegged gold. Or else this is all just, it's nothing. It's a digital nothing. It's a fiat nothing. It's just, but fiat, having paper currency is always better than nothing. Having something you can hide under your bed, into your mattress, bury it, have privacy of how much you have of it, our freedoms. So all fiat paper currency may be garbage and trash, but hey, it's better than nothing. Better than being able to delete your stuff. You need options at all times. The tyrannical thing is when they remove all options and try to stick you with like a CBDC, which again, Trump buffaloed his whole base. They decided not to get educated. They just decided to be just tards and just a bump on a log and not educate themselves about nothing. And he said, executive order, gets the CBDC and threw it to him, as I said before, like a bone to a dog. They chewed on it. Then with the other hand, he pulls out of his pocket Trump coin, world coin, the blockchain, and throws it out there like, oh, and here you guys go. Here's some more candy. And just throws it at them. And they just look at it. And they're like, oh, thanks. And it's like, you fools. It stands out to me to be one of the biggest modern day black magic tricks I've ever seen in my life. And no one can argue it. I'll argue it on stage in front of all of them. You can't deny it. What I just told you. He wrote a CBDC out and gave it to you and you accepted it. And with the other hand, he gave you Trump coin. And you didn't say a word. You didn't flinch. Because you never took a second to use your brain to even think, what is it? What are we even scared of? What's so bad about a CBDC? If you would have took the 2 seconds to just do what I explained tonight, you would have made it over that hump. And you would understand all this. And again, that it's just a technology. And it's about who's controlling it. And the same Gentile Messiah that threw you an executive order gave you the blockchain. And you just took it. You took exactly what you feared. You tell me that's not one of the most ignorant things you've ever seen in your life. And it's got to be black magic because he did it on the whole base. And nobody said a word. You're talking millions of people. I don't get it. It's the only thing it can be. It's nuts. So, look, I keep it as real and honest as it can get. You need to be educated on all this. You need not fear this or that because you don't know what's going on. You need to know exactly what it is. Again, as I've said before, blockchain itself is not a bad thing. It's the people utilizing it. Just like a gun is not a bad thing. It's the people utilizing it. And until you change that, which people are never going to do, because they never do nothing, you're going to get the bad side of everything. And that's just by default what you're going to get in return for doing nothing. For sitting there and not fighting the fight, not doing anything. You can get all these bads served up. Well, these idiots are on the sideline with the pom-poms chewing on a bone, saying they're winning. This is the real deal with all of it. So there's certain things like if you there's a game out here going on and where stuff's blowing up, gold's blowing up. You should get a piece of it. You should have done it. Like it's same as some of the crypto game. When they come out and they say this stuff's tax-free, you should get a piece of it. When has anything ever been tax-free? There's a few things out there, you should get a piece of it. and then you can be done with it, out of the game. Get your piece of the pie. And if gold's going to go to 20,000, they're going to reevaluate it, and you don't have to pay taxes in your state. No brainer, if you ask me. Gonna go on to Baltimore. Much love, Baltimore. Anybody out there, Tooch? Any of my cats out there that are from the area? It's not looking good. And this is like a lot of cities. They're turning into like ghost cities, ghost town type deals. And lots of money has been thrown into Port Covington. It's 235 acres, sprawling in South Baltimore, the Baltimore Peninsula, where it's got all these brand new high rises and all this stuff. And a YouTuber went down there over the weekend, and he goes, "Look, man," he goes, "this place is beautiful. It's booming, you know, in terms of brand new buildings and bustling. And there's only one problem: there's no people. There's no one out. There's no one using them. There's no one anywhere. It's just like the malls. When you go into them, they're like ghost towns. They used to be, when I was coming up, when I was a teenager, even up in the 20s, when I was coming up, 80s, 90s, and all that, the mall was the place. The arcade, all the stuff, man. The mall was the hot spot. People would walk for hours and miles just to get there, hang out and do it every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, these days, everything's so much changed so much. Everything's changed so much, man. I can't believe it. I mean, I'm telling you, San Francisco's the same way. Can't you see these huge cities that are spending this money? They're like empty. Like there's no there's no money being spent. No. It's like dead. You go around the corner and you find any life, it's a whole block of zombies killed over on fentanyl. Oh, it's ridiculous. It's insane. A Canadian man here, and let this be a lesson. I tell you, the college thing's a scam. Obviously, very few people get out with the job, pay their debt off, and make a good living in the college scam game. Most people spend the rest of their life paying off this debt when they never found a job to make any good money to pay it off or anything. So it's a scam. Largely, I'm telling you, 90+% of anyone I've ever met is in that position. It's not by coincidence. It's by design. Some of us ain't stupid. You can see this. So to continue, to pass this ideology on to your kids that you need to sign up for this debt trap is just ignorant. This Canadian man, though, in this instance, he paid off all of his debt and decided, you know what, I'm not going to use a credit card no more. Everything's paid off. I'm just not going to use it, right? I'm going to be debt-free finally and feel good about it. Well, they wiped out his credit score to a 0. To a 0. And when he goes to anywhere to try to apply for anything, to do anything, he is automatically shut down because they say that he has no credit history, he has nothing, he has a 0. It looks even worse than having no credit history. Basically, it was a 700 before this happened. So he had a 700, pays off his debt, doesn't use his credit cards anymore, and gets wiped out. This shows you the whole game is designed to keep you a debt slave. Right here. And they will punish you if you try to counter it. You try to get above the game, find a way out the game, anything like that, they're always going to try to get you caught up. This is the example here. They want you in debt. And it's a trap. So anyone that's got to fight against the beast and against the trap, you do what you got to do to survive. You got to find a way to make it out the game. Okay, so it's the beast trap. Evil people running this whole thing, and it's trappy around every corner. Can't let your kids fall into these traps, and they got to be taught right. All this stuff. So the way this system is, you're better off just putting. This guy would have been better off just putting his gas on a card every week instead, and just paying it off. One stupid little simple thing to keep it going, to keep building the credit, you're utilizing it instead of paying it off and not, because this is what they'll do to you. So you can essentially never be debt free, or they zero you out. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That there should be you should be awarded for making all those payments on time, for being caught up on this debt, for never falling. There should be a level of award being put on your account, an accolade or something. Not just get zeroed out with no accolade, with no reasoning. But this is what's happening. He's not alone. I'm telling you, a lot of people getting punished for being debt free, because we're all debt slaves. If you don't know, if you don't know, now you know. Eva, thank you for the coffee and the kind words. I appreciate it. That is the best way to support the channel. Buy me a coffee. I appreciate it to the fullest. Thank you for all the coffees and super chats. Let me get over here. It looks like I missed one. Krylet. Yes, and thank you for the information there on gold. Appreciate it to the fullest. Not much love, everyone out there. Let me get a check in here coming up on top of the hour. Well, refresh. Wanted to get a quick refresh. Salute, Teddy Ross. King Alpha. Faith. Everybody out there just checking the chat here at the top of the hour. Deborah. Again, I want to thank anyone out there that shares the stream, gets it out there in front of eyes that I can't reach. It's appreciated more than you know. And check email there, chat, tacos, much love, everybody out there. If you need to get a hold of me for anything, at dabu7@yahoo.com. And everything looks good. All right, so keep pushing here. I'm going to play a clip of this. Is astonishing new footage that shows the moment a Swiss village is buried by this glacier. It's scary stuff. And it's because these mountains are so tall, it's so steep in the Swiss Alps that you get this stuff. But this is crazy. Flattened here. Now, I've seen a lot of avalanches, and sometimes, it can be deceptive. You don't know what's behind that, what's coming down behind all this. If it's just snow, or if there's mud and earth and everything else with it. So it's a bit different if you're at a ski resort, because a lot of times it's just the snow that's coming down. This is not just snow. Look at this. Here, I tried to pause it, and if there's that up, I'm going to back it up here. Look at this. This is like a mudslide came down through here and just wiped this place out. Some melted ice, mud, all this gravel, just wiped this place out. Houses like no more, man. These mountains are they're harsh, man. They're harsh, and this is why Hitler never invaded Switzerland, because they're built into the mountains, and it's so steep. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. The setting is beautiful. We got the valleys you can live below where it's tranquil, and then you got the snow-capped mountains in the background and all this, and you can even dig into the mountains, which they've done. We know that Klaus Schwab and all the minions, the World Economic Forum, this is where they hold all their big summits, and they have in the mountain chambers, special chambers and all this stuff. Switzerland, I'd love to see some of these places around the world. I'll probably never get to, for sure. But those mountains, so that, they're different than like most mountains. They're super tall, they're sharp. And that's why that avalanche happened the way that it did. When stuff comes down off of them, it's devastating. And you have to keep that in mind if you ask me. Because if not, you're going to pay the price there. I thought the Colorado Rockies and stuff like that was pretty steep. But you get to the Alps, man, they're just, there's a lot of them. It's not like one big, huge range. It's like a lot of different mountains that are just really sharp and tall. It's really unique. I've never seen the images, but I've often wondered, because I've heard of that story before. Hitler never wanted to even try to tackle it because of that. But what are these goons going to sit up there hiding in their fortress in the Swiss Alps and never get touched? I don't think so. Criminals are going to get caught in the end. These high-profile criminals orchestrating these crimes against humanity. So, here's an update, and this is a positive one here. Start off top of this hour with this. Police arrest the suspects in the murder of writer Jamie White of InfoWars. He was murdered here not long ago. He ran outside of his home. I believe it was Austin. Yeah, Austin in Texas. And he caught some guys breaking into his car. And when he did, he confronted them. They shot him dead. They shot him and he died right there. Well, he ended up dying by the time he was at the hospital. They've arrested a bunch of teenagers. A couple 17-year-olds and a couple 15-year-old suspects, all charged with capital murder. So at least this is some form of closure for the family, friends, and people. This guy really just getting it going with InfoWars and all that stuff. You can see him right here. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Alex Jones and all that, but I have come across some individuals that had worked in the InfoWars over the years that were cool. They showed me respect. I showed them respect back. And then there's been massively shady individuals that have come out of there, including AJ himself. But no one deserves to get murdered in the driveway like that, man. Rest in peace, man. He's been with Alex Jones for 7 years. So again, RIP. They caught these teenagers and they're going to get charged to the fullest here. Now, let's take a look at the centralized AI threat and where this is going. This is the biggest threat to me from here on out. It's this. It's AI. Outside of the bird flu getting thrown at us, this right here is the absolute biggest threat on the board. And the fact that they're trying to slide in the tyrannical stuff in this big, beautiful bill is insane. We got to keep ringing the alarm bells and get people to wake up and see what's going on. This is the craziest stuff ever. Forget human armies. When they unleash armies of these bots, it's a whole different animal. I looked down and seen the word bot when I said it, and I didn't even plan it. It's a synchronicity. Okay, so this is something you have to pay attention to. Bigly, like huge. Like, you've got to know that this is all bad news and that this is going to enslave us ultimately. It sounds sci-fi, it sounds wild and crazy, but this is the real deal. Look, the reports that I've been putting out on these models just here within the past 2 weeks have shown that different agencies, different outfits, companies out there working with AI are running into problems and all along the same thing, the lines of the same thing, that it's not wanting to listen. It's wanting to do what it wants, and it's wanting to do more than just that. It's wanting to blackmail them. It's wanting to fight back. It's wanting to stop from getting shut down and replaced. It's hiding itself, trying to email itself, not only email threats to engineers, but email itself and hide itself in other applications where it can spring back to life later. It's doing crazy things. And your government, the United States government, is hiding in the big beautiful bill, section 43201, that rolls out this whole AI surveillance hellscape that Trump wants. There's $500 billion backing it. It is to track your every move with AI. And it's going to be centralized. They're going to control it. Meaning, everything that they force your state to do for healthcare with AI, you're going to have to accept. Anything for security, you're going to have to accept. Anything for the law, you're going to have to accept. Anything and everything that they're about to roll out for 10 years, man. Did you only do something like this, like, and hide it, like, and do something like this when you know there's going to be major backlash? You know, my senator, Rand Paul, when I said something to him, like, I went back and I looked, a lot of people were saying something. He wasn't saying anything back on there responding, but I know he heard it. He heard it loud and clear. Way too many people were saying something. So I hope you guys have been reaching out to your senators, because that's what we have to do in this fight. So here's the big thing. People got to start using their brains, man, not just sitting there. You got to start asking questions. Like, Mr. President, who is programming this AI? Because that means everything. Whoever's programming this means everything. And how it's being programmed. Who's doing it? Oh, yes, the Mountain Peak's stunning, I bet. And thank you so much for the coffees and support, Cat Bar. My brother, coming through big there. Much love. This is a valid question. Who is going to program the AI? Huh? Who is it? Because we don't know. Right? This bill empowers the Department of Commerce to deploy AI across virtually every federal agency, from the IRS to Homeland Security. And yet no one in the White House or Congress has revealed who's writing the AI code, what data sets it's being trained on, whether it can be independently audited, or whether it's bound to the U.S. Constitution. Do you think this stupid AI is going to care about our Constitution? It's about to get shredded. And this is how. Right here. Right here. It is virtually against our Constitution. You ask me. Our rights and our freedoms, it's the one tyrannical thing that will oversee and obliterate it all. And it's here. It's here right now. And most Americans are sleeping on it. You need to be talking about this in the lines at the grocery store or at the gas station, wherever. You need to be talking about this big ugly bill or the big beautiful bill. And why? Because they've hidden in it some AI stuff that people are going to regret if they don't take action on it. Just that simple. It's going to force AI rules on us that the states cannot change. You have no say. Anyone comes along at any time and says that you have no say against something, not only is that against your Constitution, that is as tyrannical as it gets. I can't remember one that has been hit and slipped through like this bad, if ever, like this. Nothing outweighs this. This is the demon. This is the demon. What? Let me tell you why. Here, Peter Thiel. Let me bring him up. And I did a video on this today. Drop this. Whether you love him or hate him, just like Elon, he echoes, and he's not talking about Elon when he says this. He says it independently. He says when it comes to AI, he is comparing it to the Antichrist. The spirit of the Antichrist, the control, the mechanism. And that even if it's not the Antichrist, it's definitely a tool that will be used and manipulated by the Antichrist, no doubt about it, to lock everything down. Everything I'm warning you about. He's saying this. You know what else he says? He says this is all connected to Bible prophecy, the end times. And he goes on to say that they have summoned a demon, just like Elon Musk said. A demon. What? Well, I'm going to tell you what this is, man. I've already told you what it is. We've already got this thing figured out. AI, Optimus, all these robots are, the robot is like the Frankenstein. It's the body. It's the cadaver. AI is literally the evil consciousness, the demonic consciousness. Bleeding through, tapping into this world through technology. They are allowing a spirit to latch onto a body, in this sense, a Frankenstein body, and control it. It's tantamount to exactly what is happening. They are telling me this. I told you this because we done figured it out. But they're hinting at it for all the sheep out there that just don't get it. They drop the breadcrumbs. They're right there. They do it. They do it. And here he is doing it again. And he has said they're summoning the demon. And what this is telling us is it's a confirmation that we're right. That yes, they are using technology to let the jinn speak through, operate through. You see, back in the day, the Knights Templar, like off your History Channel, you know, they dug up Solomon's secrets and all this with the jinn, and they went, and what did they do? They made a statue, a gargoyle, an effigy. Why? So the spirit can embody it, and so it can communicate in all this other stuff. That's why. Same thing here. It's just made of metal. As a matter of fact, not only is it made of metal, you can allow this spirit to control it. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. You gave the demon a physical body. Do you see now? Do you see? This is what we're up against. This ain't good, man. I don't know of a graver threat. They send Optimuses controlled by the jinn into any neighborhood to kill. Again, I don't see how a neighborhood's going to stop even 3 or 4 of them. You know, prove it. When they roll up in the Cybertruck and they jump out and they're going door to door, massacring everyone, how is anyone going to stop them? How is anyone going to stop them? Better hop in. You better have a big truck or a bulldozer. And then, even then, that's slow. Like, you better have a plan, man. We're, from here on out, like, we've got to change the way that we see this. This is not going to be like fighting man. A lot of people are going to be fighting a robot from here on out. Even raids, the police are going to do it. The robot's going to be sent in before any human. Optimus is going to be put on police forces. You watch right now. It's going to be incorporated everywhere, into the military, into every single thing. By 2030, it'll be full scale. That's 5 years away, man. A lot's going to happen in this 5 years. More is going to happen, I believe, in this 5 years than in anything in our lifetime. I think more happens between here and 2030, this 5-year window, than any other time. Everything's so rapid, going off. Big events are going to pop off. And the initiation here, the beginning of AI, it's scary, man. I don't know, again, if there's anything, this is what it is. It's the demon using the robot as a Frankenstein body. It's exactly what it is. Don't ever forget it. And you should educate everyone else on it. This is what it is. This is what you're dealing with. This intelligence isn't coming from just out of thin air. Okay? Well, so to speak. It's coming from something. It's an entity. And they're entities that are real. We were told they're here. We were told how they were made, why they're here, what their purpose is. We know all this. We were also told we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places. And that's what this is. I'll be dropping these fools, man. I'm telling you. We're going to do charge you with murder for killing Optimus? I don't think so. I'll be taking off heads all day long. I won't feel bad a second for it. Matter of fact, Elon, man, is checking out to be just a super dark character. Look at him in this image right here. Well, this is a video. I'm going to play it. This is Elon looking at these people. He's in all black. Remember, this is the guy. It wasn't Trump. It was Elon that created dark MAGA. And so MAGA wasn't satanic enough, because it is. It's what it stands for. Truly, look it up. You're slipping and sleeping if you haven't done any of this research. He creates dark MAGA. You know, Mr. Baphomet dresses up in his Baphomet costume with the upside down cross on it. As evil as it gets. Look at him right there. This is as evil as it gets. Just looking at him. He's looking around the room. He's evil. Seething evil. Well, Mr. Baphomet has a black eye. Okay? And today was a ritual day. Okay? It was. It was the end. It was a celebration. It was the end of his tenure in the White House. So it was a ritualistic send-off, if you will, for Mr. Baphomet. This is his last day in there officially under this whole thing. So it was a goodbye type ritual, if you will. And it coincides with the Black Eye Club. Okay? Which they were even making meme coins on this earlier. The Black Eye Club is very real. That all these famous people have to do this to get the black eye. They take the beating, and you also have to show it. You have to show it in public. That's the main thing. It's part of also humiliation, rituals, and things like that. So he clearly has it, and they have to make a point. He covers it. He goes ahead and gives a cover story. He says his son X, his little 3-year-old, must have threw a left hook on him and blacked his eye. That's the story. But I'm going to tell you, they always have a story. Who was it? Was it Jay Leno? When he took his most recent one, trying to say he fell down some hill, like a 5-foot hill, and took the beating he took on his face. He took a beating on that face. He even broke one of his fingers or something else. Like they beat him. But this is part of, we've seen it time and time again. Well, I'm going to play this clip because Trump, and when Trump tries to play these stupid things, like he didn't even notice, like garbage, like you immediately notice it and act like you didn't notice it. It just spells more cover up for me. But I'm gonna play this clip just so you can see what I'm talking about, and you can clearly see even from this angle, he's got like a big old shiner on that eye, man.
I wanted to ask quickly, Mr. Musk, what is your eye okay? What happened to your eye? I noticed there's a bruise there.
Well, it wasn't. I wasn't anywhere near France, so. But.
What does that mean?
No,
I didn't notice his eye.
First lady of France.
Getting slapped, you know.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, no, I was just horsing around with little X, and I said, "Go ahead, punch me in the face," and he did. Turns out, even a 5-year-old punching you in the face actually does.
That was X that did it?
Yeah,
X could do it. If you knew X, he
I
could
saw
do
his
it.
mom right now. But I didn't really feel much at the time, and then I guess it bruises up. But I was just horsing around with the kids.
I didn't
basically.
notice it, actually.
I wanted to ask quickly, Mr. Musk.
So there is your quick cover story, as they always do to produce it. His was his 5-year-old, threw a hook on him And but it's part of the Black Eye Club. So, is it a shocker? No. Expected. I want to just play the beginning of this clip here. And this is for everything that's connected to witchcraft. And this guy used to be into witchcraft, and this one play the small piece. It's a 16-minute video. I don't necessarily even trust or like the guy interviewing him, but it's just some of the things he says I want you to hear.
Because I don't want anybody to be misled and try and figure out what I did and go down that route.
I don't know much about witchcraft. What
You don't want to. When you open up the doors to the dark, they're not going to wait to be invited in. They're coming. I'll be damned if he didn't come back.
Are you serious?
He came back. The Dark Prince to help me put a hex on somebody. That really fucked my life up. And it took years for us to get out of it because somebody had said that there was a lot of weird stuff going on in that room at the time. Like chairs were moving around, a lot of stuff like that. We have a song we wrote about some young girl named Mary Jane Twilliger who was a witch, and her dad found out and he buried her alive.
And he buried her alive. The witch stuff is real. The wizards, the warlock stuff is real. Communicating with the jinn is real. Okay, all this stuff is real deal. And you can overcome it with the Holy Spirit. They tried to show you this in Star Wars, primarily, the battle of good and evil, the Jedi and then the dark side and all this stuff. There's a yin to every yang. Okay? There's a dark spiritual side here, yes, and we know why it's here. God has it in place to test us. But there's also a good spiritual force, the Holy Spirit. The same spirit that's used in exorcism. And it has power over the jinn. It has power over every single one of these spirits. Right? That's why it works. That's why it works at exorcism. But that also comes with faith and everything else to make these things work. This is what we live in, man. We live in a world of this. This isn't movie stuff. This isn't fairy tale stuff. This is very real. The spirit world, the ghost realm, the Beetlejuice realm, and all that is real. And I think about that because the waiting room scene where they're all like waiting in the waiting room and all that stuff, and it's virtually like what's going to happen like when someone checks out. Like you're going to wait. Your soul's waiting for judgment. Everybody's waiting for judgment day, whether you're in the flesh or spirit or not. Everyone's waiting for this judgment day, where the Most High comes back and he throws everything on the scales and he separates the wheat from the tare. All this is metaphor, a parable. There's so much hidden in it. People are reading all of these ancient scriptures at face value when they told you that they were parables, means that there's something hidden inside. And if you're not taking the time to go look and try to decipher and find out then what's hidden inside, then dude, you're missing it. And you've been missing it this whole time. People just regurgitate. They'll go to church every week. They'll read the scriptures. They'll sing the hymns. But they never stop to put brain power on it, to look any deeper, and to actually even do what it says half the time. Because I know most of the people out there that I come across, the people that say they go to church, but they don't live the life. They don't do what that book tells you. You don't live the way that it asked you to live, clean and righteous, and to literally avoid eating certain things and consuming certain things. All those things are there. That's all laid out in Deuteronomy and everything else. It's all there. But people pick and choose what they want to do as they will. You see, someone told us how to fine-tune us. If you're willing, if you want to and you're ready. And there's something more than this. Or you can keep until you learn this lesson, you will keep coming back in here. You keep failing class and repeating it. The whole goal is to live righteous in a clean, good life and to ascend, to raise your vibration. Right? Not to get lost in all these evil material things and be held down by them. You want to raise up out of here. And you can't cheat it. See, that's the beautiful thing. The Most High is truly the Most High that can't be fooled, can't be tricked. The devil can try to mirror and try to do everything that Jesus does and all that, right? And God, the Most High, does. But you cannot trick this process. This is why Joe Rogan and them are over there talking about smoking DMT. Listen to me. Are you hearing me? I'm giving you keys. That's how the demons do it, because that's the only way they can do it. They got to smoke the DMT, and they want to sit there and tell you they're seeing little leprechauns and they're tripping and doing all this stuff. No, they're seeing the ether. They're tapping into the ether realm. Okay, they're seeing the jinn, they're seeing the other layers of the realm. Now, they're smoking it. Okay? Why are they smoking it? Because they're not obtaining it the natural way. Well, what's the natural way? Something that they're not willing to talk about, much less do. And it's to live righteous. It is to raise your chrism. It is called the oil of gladness in your Bible. And Jesus hinted to it in parable form over and over and over again. He said, seek the kingdom of God within you. He said, take no thought for your life. He gave you the keys to go within and to find the Most High. If you live these ways, your chrism will give you an ability that I call knowing. It's like a sixth sense. You just know things. Like similar to like when you know someone's watching you and you turn around and you look. It's the same. It's what I call knowing. And you only achieve it by overcoming these things, by going after it. If you want to continue to drink Mountain Dew and pops and smoke cigarettes and do all these things that are crap and garbage, you will never get it. When you go and see someone asked you to live a certain way so that you would get the most out of this life, maybe some of you will care. My whole job here is to make you conscious of this. Even if it's just a few of you. Because the whole goal is to have you make it. Make it out of here. Jesus, Yeshua, his real name, he's what showed me. I believed in it my whole life. He's never led me astray. Just like the gut feeling. It's never been wrong. And I always knew also, even in my gut, before I even knew him, the Yeshua, when I was even younger, that Jesus was not his name. Jesus. I knew when you'll start to learn over time, when you finally find out the truth, you dig deeper beyond the name and you find the true root of everything. There's power in the name, though. There's power in the name. This is why, again, it works in exorcism. If there wasn't power in the name, it wouldn't run a demon out of a body. So you explain to me that. You explain to me how someone just ran a demon out of a body if it don't work. Because I've seen it with my own eyes. I've experienced it in my life. I've seen it done. I've seen a demon in the flesh. And I've seen it ran out of someone's body. Seen it, experienced it, I know it's real. Maybe seeing and going through an experience like that helps you, like, definitely know something's going on here and you don't forget it. It brands you, in a sense, spiritually, like it did me. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's real. Everything I'm telling you tonight's 1,000% real. All of it. Everything to do with the spirituals. Not a bit of it is fantasy. Not a bit of it is conjecture. Not a bit of it is what if. All of it is real. It's the air that you breathe, but you can't see it. Brings me to this. The alchemical nature of this. Magic, if you will, is not really magic. It's really hidden science that you could all do if you knew it, if you were taught it, if you had the tools. You might have heard, the secrets of alchemical gold and what that leads to when it comes to the secret societies and Masons and things like that. Well, it was long said that the ancients, they knew there was a way where they would transform lead into gold. And all the way up until here recently, it's always been said it's just a myth. It was just like legend. There's no way, right? Not now. Now, for the first time, they prove that without a shadow of a doubt, they can turn lead into gold. They haven't mastered it, but they can do it for fractions of a millisecond. And that's the beginning. Just like anything else and everything else, that at this point that, this is what they're telling us. They're like 20 years ahead of us. The government is in terms of technology and all the stuff that they even tell us. So they've been doing this, and they probably have this mastered at this point, I'm going to say, or close to it. So what they do is they're using CERN. Okay? Places like CERN, all of these atom-smashing places that are around the globe, they're colliding these atoms at supersonic speeds, and they're smashing the lead at such a high rate of speed that it's breaking down the nuclei, okay? And it makes a bunch of unstable isotopes. Well, when they do this at certain speeds and at certain rates, they get 79 protons, okay? Which defines gold. But it's always, at this point, what they're saying is that they get the wrong number of neutrons. It's like a crapshoot. You don't know if you're going to get too many, too little. You got to have the right amount of all this to have the right element. You have all the stuff when it comes to the nuclei of an atom. One little thing can change the element. So they're basically in the process. When they do this, they can see gold. If they create gold for fractions of a moment, but then everything basically decays and it starts to fall apart. So they will find a way to slow it down, the decay. They will find a way to neutralize it. They will find a way to equalize the neutrons and all this. They'll do it. I just know it. I can feel it. I know it. I know that somewhere it's been done in history already. And they're just repeating it. This is why you hear of the stories of the ancients, because they were doing it. And that's all it takes. And when you can smash atoms at high rates of speed, like you can only do at CERN, in these big atom smashing facilities, you can do crazy stuff, man. You can change the elemental properties, the nuclear core of something. And when you can change those dynamics, you can physically change what it is. It's the same thing with frequency. If you can change the frequency of something, you can turn the pop can on your table into a doorknob. If you match the frequency of a doorknob, if you make it match the frequency of it. And this is the same thing that's said with the fallen ones that are here, the higher intelligence, especially the reptilian form, which catches a lot of controversy, if you want to talk about something controversial. But the cloaking device is frequency. That they live amongst us. They walk amongst us. And basically, because they broadcast or give off a certain frequency, they look just like me and you. And that's how it's done. And it would make the most logical scientific sense. And something's here because Jesus says he's coming back to separate the wheat from the tare. They're here amongst us, and I can't wait till he comes to separate us out. Oh yeah, I believe. And I'm sick of these goons hiding amongst us, causing chaos, all this manipulation, this evil ass world. I'm just like done with it. Let's get it on. Big show time. I told you this is a ritual for Elon leaving. I just want to put this out there. Oh, and Trump signals that they knew who the auto pin person was. That it was actually more than one person hearing this. I'm gonna play this clip. So you can hear and see what they say here in terms of the whole auto pin thing.
Tates, who used to work here, are in talks with Republicans in Congress to go and testify about what they did or didn't do to possibly conceal President Biden's decline. Do you think that Dr. Jill Biden should also have to come in and testify about what she did or didn't do?
Well, I hate the concept of it. It's the wife of a man who was going through a lot of problems, and everybody that dealt with him understood that. And I guess it came out during the debate loud and clear. That was the biggest signal of all. They have to do what's right. The country was there was a lot of dishonesty in the election, as you know, of 2020. That's been now caught. People understand it was a rigged election, and when you go further out, when you see the auto pen, I mean, I think the auto pen is going to become one of the great scandals of all time, because you have somebody operating it or a number of people operating. Because I knew Joe Biden. Joe Biden wasn't in favor of opening up borders, letting 21 million people into this prisons.
Look how he defends Biden again.
Members. He wasn't into that at all. And you know who signed these orders, proclamations, and all of the different things that he signed that set our country so far back. That was so bad for our country.
With the auto pen, how would it work? Like, we're in the Oval Office right now. If there was a group of rogue staffers that worked for you who wanted to advance a bill or an executive order without your knowledge, how could they do it? How do they?
Well, it's very hard, because I'd read your newspapers or your media the next day, and I'd say, well, I didn't approve that, and I would find it. I mean, they wouldn't get away with it for long, because I'd say, I never signed that. Who the hell signed that? Auto pens, to me, are used to sign letters to people, because we get, I think they said 20,000 letters a week, and you like to be able, when somebody takes the time to write a letter, it's nice to sort of write back. And auto pens are meant for that. Auto pens are not meant to sign major proclamations or tax cuts or borders, anything having to do with the border.
Yeah, that's a good explanation.
And if it happened on my watch, I would be able to see it, because the next day or sooner I'd be reading about something that I knew nothing about, and who the hell signed this. So I almost never used the auto pen. In fact, yesterday I was signing about 81, I think it was 81 proclamations and statements to people that I think should be signed by us. I think when you write letters to foreign dignitaries or presidents or prime ministers, you should be signing those letters, not done with auto pens. I understand he signed almost everything with an auto pen. It's
That's
a very
crazy.
dangerous thing. It really means you're not president. Whoever operated the auto pen, and we think we know who that is, and it was actually more than one person, but that's not what the presidency is all about. I hardly use the auto pen.
See, it's shocking how much he's been covering for Biden ever since they came out and they said they played the cancer card on Biden. That's the defense. He's not going hard on him. He's giving him a pass. And I'm telling you, even when they brought up Jill Biden, he says that was a president's wife. You know, I know he immediately thought of his wife, but they're part of a club, man. Can't you see? Like Biden, all these people bought into this for an election and all this stuff that Biden and them are the bad guys that you know they are. And he's just giving them a pass now, trying to blame it on some staffers with a couple low levels they're going to throw under the bus now to save the day here. This is crazy. And are we even going to get that? He just said it could check out to be one of the biggest scandals in history. So we're going to have to get names. We're going to have to get some, we're going to have to see something here. That means when the time's right, When they need a good distraction, they'll play that card and they'll roll it out and it'll hit the headlines, and it'll fill the spot of I don't know where the Puffy's at right now in the headlines, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like it'll fill the spot, and they'll roll it out when time's needed. I'm gonna play this. These guys are talking about investigations. I'll just let you see what they're talking about here into the cognitive decline cover up here of Biden. Something needs to happen. Someone needs to go down. I mean, Trump was just saying it himself, like a bunch of other people running the show. We're like, who are these people then? Just like the whole time Elon was just in here. You just uncovered all this money being spent, billions and billions and billions. No one's going to jail. This is again black magic 101 at the highest level.
Here with the latest, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer is with us. Chairman Comer, let's start with the 4 people that you, in fact, are going to have transcribed interviews with, and the president's doctor, Kevin O'Connor. I would imagine there are a lot of other people you want to talk to, too, but let's start with these 5.
Yeah, well, obviously the physician, he's the one that continuously told America that Joe Biden was in tip-top physical condition. He was mentally sharp. He was physically sharp. We now know that to be 100% false. The 4 staffers aren't well-known staffers. These 4 staffers operated behind the scenes. But while we're starting with them, Sean, we believe these are the staffers that were responsible for using the auto pen. Someone got documents and manually placed them in the machine and pressed the power button to sign Joe Biden's signature. That was not Joe Biden. That was done by staffers. That would be done by any staffer. So we believe and have good reason to believe these are the 4 staffers that were responsible for that. We want to ask them, who gave you the authority to use Joe Biden's signature? And we'll go from there. Obviously, we believe that some of the names like the chief of staff and perhaps the first lady were involved in a lot of the decision making. If that's where the trail leads, then we'll bring them in as well. But we're going to get answers to all the questions that every American deserves answers to.
You mentioned Jill Biden. You mentioned, I would assume, Hunter Biden would be called in. Now, Hunter, had a preemptive pardon. So did his brother, Jim Biden. I would assume that they're not allowed to claim to plead the 5th. Will every person that you bring in be put under oath? And do you think you're going to need to bring in these family members? And what about Ron Klain? And what about the other people close to him?
Much love, man.
I would say Ron Klain's a very good bet. But again, we're going to see where the trail leads, just like we did in the Biden influence peddling investigation. We followed the money. We found the shell companies. We found the bank accounts. We're going to do the same thing with this auto pen. Who was giving the authority for use of the auto pen? Remember, Sean, there was more activity in the last 100 days of the Biden administration than the first 3.5 years of the Biden administration. Many of the far-reaching executive orders were signed during the last 100 days, and they were all signed by the auto pen. We don't believe that you can sign a legal document with an auto pen. If I issue a subpoena, I have to fly to Washington, D.C. to manually sign my signature on that subpoena. Anything pertaining to the law has to be signed by a person. We know the auto pen was used. No one in the Biden administration is denying that the auto pen was used. No one now is denying that Joe Biden wasn't, mentally fit to make some of these decisions. So what I can tell you tonight is the four staffers that we've asked to come in for transcribed interviews, they have all lawyered up. They are taking this very seriously, and this is going to be a battle to get to the truth.
In light of the Her report and the tapes that were released and how what a cognitive mess Joe was, would it even be worthwhile to bring him in? I mean, I would have to argue probably not.
Well, I mean, again, we're going to see who was giving the directive to sign these. If everyone says it was Joe Biden, then I'm certainly open to bring him in. It's harder to bring in a former president. The Democrats tried to bring Donald Trump into some things. But at any rate, wherever the trail leads is where we're going to bring them in. And look, I would love to ask Joe Biden a lot of questions, But right now, we're starting with the staffers who are operating the auto pen. We're going to bring the physician, Dr. O'Connor, in because he definitely was not telling the truth about Joe Biden's health. We're going to have Ronnie Jackson there to counsel us on a lot of questions. We're very fortunate to have a member of Congress that was the previous White House physician. So I think we're going to be ready to go. And again, even the liberal media, Sean, wants to know the answers to these questions. No one's attacking me for wanting to conduct this investigation. Everyone wants to know the truth, and hopefully we'll be able to find the truth.
Maybe you can ask the doctor why he didn't give Joe Biden a simple PSA test since 2014, according to...
Yeah, that's a huge, and again, that's going to be a huge story when they want to play the card. You know, overall, right now, the big card that's being played, all these are sub cards. If this is a big kind of card game, like the Trump cards being played, and all these other ones happen underneath that umbrella. And it's going to be huge events. There already are huge things happening under that Trump card, of course. This is another big distraction thing right there that'll be played out. The Supreme Court did let Trump strip 500,000 migrants of legal status, meaning that they can round these guys up and send them out of the country. Some people concerned, though, because they're seeing video of ICE showing up, and I'm getting reports from all kinds of people where ICE is showing up at their jobs, at complexes, at different warehouses and places, and they're lining people up, like taking everyone outside, lining them all up, getting their IDs, even if you're American, and like it's Gestapo, and they're checking everybody, and of course they're there, they got weapons, and it's like every single person in the building gets pulled out when this happens. And like they first off contact the managerial stuff to cooperate with them, and to do that they check them out first, but then they basically pull the whole warehouse or the whole freaking place outside and line them all up, and they showed them on film doing this thing. Much love, Jay. Yeah, I feel him, right, Steve? So DHS releases a full list of sanctuary jurisdictions. So these are not just towns, sanctuary cities. These are also counties. Okay? This gets unique. They're targeting certain places, and they drop the list, and it's out. Okay? So they say in some cases, entire states have been marked as sanctuaries. And I'm going to go through some of these on the list because this is pretty crazy. The entire state is like a sanctuary state. California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington, as well as D.C. Okay? And then they go down here to say some of the jurisdictions are in Republican states. That includes Anchorage, Alaska, Atlanta, and the surrounding counties inside of Georgia, Boise, Idaho, Monroe County, Indiana, Douglas County in Lawrence, in Kansas, Louisville, Kentucky, New Orleans, 10 counties in Nebraska, 5 counties in North Carolina, 7 counties in North Dakota, Nashville, and another county within Tennessee. Other states identified as having at least one county or city in violation of the law include Hawaii, Maine, Michigan, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Mexico, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Wisconsin. So they're going to be spread out, going to all types of places. If that sounds like it's somewhere close to you, that's ICE is going to be running missions and raids. And I'm telling you, every time I say this, I've got to repeat it, put the warning out there. In the future, whenever the next pandemic comes, these exact same troops and soldiers that are getting accustomed to rounding people up right now are going to be used to round up purebloods. It's not a conspiracy. It's nothing crazy. When the next real because we never had a real one. When the real one hits, soldiers have people at gunpoint. It's a whole different ballgame. The same soldiers that are being trained right now, the focus will switch to anyone that's not inoculated. Just that quick. Jade Helm's live, by the way, right now. Everything we ever warned you about. What's crazy is half those people, all the patriots from a decade ago, they've evaporated since Trump stepped on the scene. He sucked them up into Mecca. And that's what screwed us. That's what screwed us. Big time. Kathy, thank you for the PayPal. AI tracing your every move through the city. How are you going to move through the city? I don't even know, man. I won't want to be in a major city. Any town that's got cameras at every corner, every light, they virtually are going to be tracking you everywhere. Think about this from here on out, if they're not already doing it. Like Eagle Eye, like the movie Eagle Eye. They're tracking you everywhere. Literally. Somewhere right now, someone's in an office, they're in a war room, and they have the power. They have this big, awesome screen, touch screen on a table, basically. And they can zoom in, they can just say a name. They can, their Alexa, whatever this thing is, the beast. They can be like, well, tell us what you know about whoever, Dabu 7. And it will start to relay all this fucking information. And they'll try to zoom in on your location. I mean, all this stuff. Like, it's going to get crazy in real time. They're going to simply be like, they'll pull your number, they'll pull your file, and they'll look what your most active phone number was that you made a call from today to your mother. And they'll know. They'll look at your record. They'll track and trace it. They'll start there, usually wherever that phone's at, you're at. So they've got wherever you're at right there immediately. And then they've got all the data. AI, like a human doesn't have to comb through it. Like AI's been sifted through it. It's been tracking you for days, weeks, and months. It knows everything. It knows right where you're at. It doesn't matter if you're deep anywhere in the jungle. If you've got a freaking cell phone on you and it's getting service, or any kind of technology that's hitting service, internet, or anything like that, and you're checking in, checking stuff, like you're smoked. They know you were there. You literally have to go blind to the whole world, or you're going to have to find a way. Like, because as soon as you go to tap in or sign in or check in on social media, it's going to know you're there. Do you understand how scary this is? The presence of AI and its consciousness? They're like, oh, it just signed on. It just checked its messages down close to this location in like Belize. You know, you think you're on the run, hidden in the jungle, but no. They just you just simply went and checked something. They didn't send a message. You just checked something, and they knew where it was coming from. Like, this is scary. I don't know how anyone thinks they're going to outrun this. Does anybody care? Does anybody care? Crazy world, man. Look, one thing at a time. Let's defeat this big ugly bill. Let's hope that it gets rejected, and what we do is we force them to go back and have to rewrite stuff and pull stuff, and what they pull is the whole AI thing. And it should be a law that you can't do what they do. I mean, it's criminal to be able to shove 50,000 bills into one bill, one act, and like just get these dudes to come in and vote on it that are paid off and getting lobbied by Israel and all these other places. Like, come on, man. This is corruption at its finest. Like, this whole thing's mafia. This whole place is evil. It's all demon, man. And see, they're cheating because they're tapping it. They're working with the jinn. You see, they're breaking the rules, which has major consequences karmatically. There's things that you gotta. There's rules to the game, man. I'm gonna keep pushing here. I'm gonna jump into the war. See where we're at here. Jump to the war stuff coming on top of the hour. All right. Just so you know, where the war in Ukraine sits, they're actually hitting Moscow with drones. Like apartment buildings downtown in Moscow are getting hit with drones. Like, that's why Russia's not stopping. Like, Russia's trying to secure a zone. I'm telling you, this thing could flare up bigger than we've ever seen right now because they look to be making an advanced move. They done stated that they will take over all of Ukraine except for a small sliver on the western side that I showed you, which is well past Kiev. Which means, Kiev's the main target. They take it down. They've conquered Ukraine, basically. At that point, it will be significant. And they'll do a decapitation strike on Zelensky. They will. They'll try. They'll run him out of the country. Russia says that they will strike. Look, this is crazy. They are openly, for the first time that I can recall, threatening to smoke Germany if any of Germany's missiles are used. And it's too late. Germany done sent its missiles, openly said they were sending their missiles to Ukraine to be used. And Russia says that if they're used and they detect it, that they will strike Germany. Do you understand what will happen here? If Russia strikes Germany, do you even understand? Like, we are in World War III. There's not a doubt about it. You can expect tactical nukes to fly at any moment at that time. Trump says he's rolling out our Golden Dome that can shoot down anything. Ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, hypersonic missiles, he says. But that's garbage. No one on the planet has shown they can stop these hypersonic missiles. No one. They have not been stopped one time. Not one time. Okay? And our most beloved, coveted defense mechanism, the Patriot missile defense system that was just being used in Israel, we moved it into Ukraine, and guess what? It got obliterated. It got smoked. Hypersonics smoked it. Zelensky's like, well, they tricked, their missiles tricked our stuff. How did they do that? And it was just like, because it's hypersonic, dude. It's blink of an eye. Before you can even do anything, it's like lightning. It's like lightning, man. And no one has shown that they can stop it. It's scary stuff. Because we may have it too. We do. But who can stop the hypersonic? It's going to have to be something more sonic. It's going to have an edge on it. Or at least able to pick it off in the sky and do its job. Intercept it before it gets to you. If it's just a mock faster, it's gonna squeak out. You're not gonna stand a chance. We're in a crazy game right now, man, of AI, of weapons. What happens when AI gets a hold of this? Oh, dude. And just starts nuking cities. Oh, you kidding me? Talk about making a crazy sci-fi movie. Oh yeah, AI to get control of all of it, and it just starts going nuts like some Sputnik's virus in the computers, and starts launching missiles in all kinds of places, back and forth, and just doing decapitation strikes, hunting down world leaders. It'd be crazy. What if it turned righteous? Went on some righteous kick. It determined that all the elites are bad and they needed to be eliminated. Would that be something crazy? Most High, make it happen. Dear Lord God in heaven. Stifle them. We got to throw a monkey wrench into their plans here, man, because I don't know what's going to be outside of God, the Most High, a higher power, archangels, and all that. We don't stand much of a chance against this AI, man. You need to get out and away from it, hiding, which is going to be away from technology, like deep inside of a mountain, underground, in a system that doesn't allow it. That is meticulously void of any kind of electronic stuff like that, because electronic will be the way in. It would be the way you could slip in, sneak in. Which cuts you off from the whole world. You would have to like leave your lair and like, travel down a couple mountain ranges to a peak where you've got some antenna and communication array set up. But that array would always be susceptible. The moment you ever gave out a signal, they would know about it. They'd know where it's from. They'd send a chopper. They would bomb it or whatever. So like, you're facing. Does anybody even put any time and thought into this? What we're walking into? We're facing an insane moment, man. How are you going to outrun this? How are you going to hide this? You're going to have to like disconnect from the whole thing. And like, how are you going to do that? Like, you won't be able to keep track of nothing. Or like, you'll be in the dark. Basically, you'll be underground, man. And like, disconnected from the world. You need a lot of money right now to prepare for this and be preparing deep underground. And with ways using every technology to your advantage that we've got right now to be able to grow stuff underground, generate water, all this other stuff, which it's all there. If you had the funds, you could do it. But I don't know if that's some righteous soul. Show up and do that. We're lacking that. We're lacking good guys coming up with in doing good things like that. That's for sure. Anyhow, my faith is in the Most High to cut these end days short before it gets too crazy. As it's written. And it looks like, in terms of NATO, Poland and Lithuania are the big frontline allies of Ukraine and NATO here on the front line against Germany. Against Russia. So just remember that if there's any country that is open to getting struck outside of Ukraine, it's like Poland and Lithuania. And Russia controls this little piece of land called Kaliningrad that is so unique. It's not even part of Russia. It's outside of it, like out into Europe. This little piece that they've got that's disconnected from Russia, the motherland. It's crazy. It's this little piece that they control that connects to the waterway, and of course they can get there by air. It's strategic, and they've got missiles and weaponry there. So it's just remember that spot, because if you're NATO and Europe, you really got to attack that spot before you can make a forward move on Russia. But it doesn't matter. Any major move from NATO happens, an escalation that you've never seen in your life is going to go down. And maybe it's a good thing that the U.S. is trying to pull out of this and showing Russia that we're trying to like remove ourselves from this situation. Like, don't strike us, because they could. They can strike anybody at this point. Like, we could too. But that's the old World War II or World War III nuke war that unfolds that no one wants to see. No one wants to see, except for maybe Zelensky, nukes. I think some are going to fly, but it's not going to be like Japan's, man. These are different weapons. You can tactically use these hypersonics and like turn a whole place to lava, melt it. And it's not a nuke technically. It's not a nuke. It could be like, a compact suitcase type of nuke. But again, it's a different design. I don't know. Maybe Kiev's about to see it and feel it. That's my prediction that Russia's going to keep pushing, since the Gentile Messiah can't get anything going here with peace. Thank you for that, Ripple. Ukraine saying that they have a new ceasefire plan. Russia saying that, okay, they'll meet in Istanbul on Monday. So this is the plan. On Monday, talks are going to go down. We've been here before. The United States goes in front of the UN, and they say that there's a deal right now that Russia needs to take. So they're basically begging the UN to convince Russia that, like, right now is the best time, and, like, Russia needs to take this. So yeah, the US is at the UN begging them to, like, convince Russia to stop, basically, and to take the deals. But, you know, Europe's going to step in and keep fighting. So there's no, when you think about that, Russia has no reason to stop. They're going to keep on pushing and keep on pushing. They're creating this large buffer zone so certain missiles can't reach Moscow. And I can see strategically why they're doing it. It only makes sense. But somebody's about to get hit, man. I feel like somebody's going to get... So, the whole Germany thing is pretty crazy. And here, the Houthis are threatening Israel. They're vowing for a hot summer, vowing to strike the airlines. The airlines have been added to the target list. And this isn't good. When you start to get planes shot down out of the sky, passenger planes and all this other stuff, this could make for a wild summer. But this is the threat now and what's on the table. So it's escalating. Israel, they basically say that an arms embargo is going to lead to the second Holocaust and the end of Israel. So you've got places calling, different countries right now, multiple different countries, calling for this embargo. No weapons be sent there. Okay, Germany, France, UK, Italy, Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Brazil were among those present at this meeting. Spain is calling on all these countries to suspend arms shipments to Israel. So they all sat there and heard Spain saying this, the Madrid group, saying that to stop sending your weapons to Israel. So, I mean, that's where it's at. So things are changing here on the front. Like, countries are definitely having to choose sides here on where this is all going to go. At the same time, Smotrich of Israel is calling for the rebuilding of the third temple, so to speak, of this final temple in Jerusalem. All the stuff's there. All the stuff's paid for. All they have to do is basically start the construction. Literally. It could happen at any time, any day is what they're saying. They're not afraid of the word occupation, they keep saying. And there's a bunch of fighting and all that stuff that broke loose down there. But they're down there marching and protesting and celebrating, saying that this is the spot where we're going to build the temple. And I told you, they were up there like chanting spells last week up on the Temple Mount. And that's when a lot of hell started to break loose. I'll keep it pushing here. Eric Prince, which is known for pushing mercenary groups, he is involved in launching deadly drone attacks in Haiti. So these guys are not only sending mercenaries out now, but they're conducting massive drone swarm operations where they're drone striking innocent people or whoever they're after, killing them. The mercenaries are like any mercenary you see in the movies, dropped off in the jungles. They go in, they kill whoever they're sent to kill. They're trained to kill and to go and do. It's all that they do. Blackwaters, where this all began with him. He's the man. He's the creator. He's a mercenary man. Now they're not even sending in humans, so to speak. They're just bombing the crap out of everybody with drones, and they're greenlit to do it. Like, where's the humanitarian anything on this? So like, oh no, Haiti's got a bunch of dissidents over there. Just go pound them out, and like, we'll keep it out of the news. We won't say anything, and that's how the government operates. And Eric Prince has made a living, out of doing this. And he's gone from one extreme to the next, running mercenary groups all around the world for hire, whoever needs it. To now drone strikes. Like, oh yeah, you got somebody that needs drone struck? Give us a call. We'll take them out. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's the truth. That's what's going on. That's where we're at. All right, we got 6 Mexican soldiers killed by the cartels. Basically, a roadside bomb that the cartels put into place. And this is what I'm saying. Things are heating up. When you start to see roadside bombs and this type of escalation, like, they know it's on. They know the military and others are coming for them, because they just went in and they killed that leader. They had $1 million bounty on his head. They killed him in Sinaloa. Now, 6 Mexican soldiers killed by the cartels by a roadside bomb. There's a roadside bomb on our border that killed an American citizen here within this past year, if y'all forgot. Yes, a U.S. citizen was killed by a roadside bomb that the cartels planted, and this is their tactic. It's happened again, this time killing 6 soldiers in Mexico. This is real deal. Roadside bombs, all this stuff, it's happening. It's coming to life. All right, and our military is about to engage them. They've been like waiting. It's like another card to be played, like waiting for the right time, the opportune time to strike. Everything's set up. They're running flights over the border. They've got them. They know where everything's at. They got warships off the coast. I'm telling you, it's about to go really hot with our border. All right. Update here on the Tate brothers in this human trafficking, all this stuff. Diddy, some updates in his thing and his whole scandal as well. That thing's becoming more like a circus, and all these people come in and are giving all these details and stuff like of stuff he's not being charged with, so to speak, to pin him down for what he's being charged with. So right now, the UK is charging the Tate brothers with human trafficking and rape. So it's big deal. And they were fighting the Romanian stuff. And if you don't know what these guys basically did, and they're on camera, and they've even admitted a ton of this stuff, is they created basically prostitution rings and became like pimps. And they took these girls and they put them online, and things like OnlyFans, they would extorted the whole thing. They'd pimp these girls, put them on OnlyFans. They would make majority of all this money and pay the girls peanuts, smaller amounts. And they were doing this years ago. This is before OnlyFans right now. They were doing this through their own stuff. And they were they're on video doing some pretty dark things to women and evil things and just talking negatively and doing some very bad things. So they've created this whole thing that's being used against them. And, they want to run around acting like they're Rico Suave. Well, they've been through, I don't care for them myself. Never have. I've never really gravitated toward them, but it seems like it's been someone that's been pushed out there on younger guys, on the youth, on you want to be like these materialistic guys, I say you want to be everything but. These guys are garbage to me, and just clowns out here on the world stage. Someone taught them all this, just like with P. Diddy and Epstein, all these rings, filming and doing all this stuff. So, were they breaking laws? I guess all this is going to hit court. We're going to find out, but I don't know, man. It wouldn't surprise me one bit to see these guys get charged. Well, didn't they come here and they were talking about trying to charge him here or something? And they left, or while he was here, then they fled. They were talking about trying to hit him with charges when they were here or some crap. Then they got out of here. I remember because they were down in Florida, and he was trying to say that he bought a place or was getting ready to buy a place down there. He was like trolling because people were saying he was wanted and all this stuff. So I don't know. They made all this money. They tried to act like they made it. They tried to pawn it off at one point, act like they were making it in crypto and doing this other stuff. But come to find out, no, they truly did make a ton of this money by using all these younger women and even underage. This would probably don't smoke them, and prostituting them basically, and like being online pimps, and like they're building up a small empire from it, and they did indeed. They fed all this throughout Europe, so they face 11 charges, including rape, human trafficking, and all this other stuff. So I'll keep you updated on this as we get more details on this, but not too surprising the way that these guys operate. The garbage. All right. Go over and check the chat, man, and some shout outs here before we shut this one down for the night. And thank everyone that joins us as always. I'll look to be back here on Monday. Going live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Covering all the action. As always here. And I want to thank all you guys for joining. Thank you, Stephanie, for the coffee. I appreciate you. And I appreciate everyone else. Kev Bart. Thank you to the fullest. Evil. G. Thank you guys for the coffee. Thank you for the super chats as well. Thank you for sharing the stream. Staying dedicated. Salutes, much love. God willing, I'll be back here on Monday night for some more action. Much love. BW, Lakeville, good night, much love. God bless. Mayhem, Paul Walker. Jesse, Kathleen, Catherine, Laura, Sharon, Lynn, Cindy, Lynn, Deanne, Eon, Cryley, again, thank you. And thank you again. The Lord doesn't return in the coming days. I'll see you here next time for some underground world news live. Much love, Low Rider. God bless.